Hi there, my name is Miron Golfman, and I am going to share a little bit about my bike, my gear, and my setup for the 2023 Vermont Super 8. So going into this race, I decided to bring my 907 Passage, which is a full carbon gravel frame. And I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this bike and the specifics of the setup. And that is because I would highly recommend against using this style of bike on this race now that I've done it. If I were to do the event again, I would use a hardtail, like cross-country mountain bike. I really think that that would be the more appropriate race or rig for this event. I do think that while this has a lot of gravel in it, this is actually a little bit more of a mountain bike race than it is a gravel race. So as you can see, I have 3 wheels. Turns out the bike actually only needs 2 to go. For those that followed my race, I had just a epic series of mechanicals, and so I'm actually this is the front wheel that shattered on night 1 of the race, and by the end I actually am running 2 new wheels. So just an entirely different wheel set than I did at the start of the race. In terms of what I really liked about my rig, let's talk about that. I'm gonna just get rid of that. We don't need to know. Okay. So let's talk about what I really liked about my rig for this race. I was really happy with my gear setup and just like overall what equipment I brought with me. I was really happy with the weight of my bike and how little I had on it. So if I were to do this event in the future, well, I would be on an entirely different bike. I think I would set it up very similarly to how I had this set up. So I was working with a tail fin rear rack, and in there I carried a sleeping bag and my extra warm clothes, and that was it. I then had with me my frame bag. In the frame bag I carried on the non-drive side like pump, lube, things of that nature for fixing the bike, and then on the drive side had space to carry extra food, things like that I could quickly get to. I had my cockpit bag, which had mostly electronics actually, and then I was carrying an ultra vest on me. In there I carried quickly to easily access warmer layers. It does get really cold in Vermont, and so definitely used a lot more layering systems than I often do, or that I find I've had to in other races that I've done this year. And so those were the bags that I had on the whole setup. In terms of I would definitely run an aero bar system on an ideal bike for this race. I was working with a K-Lite lighting system, which I love, and then unfortunately, because I had to get rid of my front wheel, I no longer could use. And so it's just been sitting here all pretty for the last few days as I've been racing. And when I had a new wheel brought out to me, I also switched out to just some like rechargeable lights. I'm running a Night Rider light on the front there. Overall, I was really happy with my gearing, though I think that doing a 1x system, just like a standard mountain bike gearing ratio on like a 32, a 34 tooth front ring, and a 52 tooth cassette on the rear would be fully appropriate for this race. So to just like briefly go into the bags and what I had in them, again, in the tail fin, I carried my sleep system and some extra warm layers. And I've literally not opened or touched the bike or any of the bags since I got to finish yesterday. So yeah, I am rocking, I've talked about this before, a Sea to Summit Spark 18-degree sleeping bag, and I absolutely love this thing. I literally didn't carry a sleeping pad or anything. I just pull this out and it is amazing. It keeps me so warm. It's so light. It takes up very little space. Huge fan. And then frankly, like, I'm wearing this vest. I took this vest on the race with me, and I just had a series of various Ibex long underwear, wool, warm, amazing merino wool layers that were fantastic. Vermont's really wet, even though this was actually a great weather year. It's just so damp here. Every single morning's foggy. The evenings, there's just like a lot of moisture in the air. So I actually was really happy to have a lot of like wool clothing that does really well, even when it's really wet. It was a super wet summer. The trail was super muddy. So even if it wasn't actively raining, you were just kind of getting drenched by like having to ride through a lot of water. So that's what was in the tail fin. In the frame bag, like I said, the non-drive side, I was carrying my lube and my pump. I have the original chain from before I blew out the cassette and got sorry, not the cassette, the derailleur. I got a new derailleur, a new chain. That was a whole thing. Let's see what goodies we have in here. And then on the drive side, oh yeah, nice. A Arizona can, or sorry, an Arnold Palmer. Ooh, wish I'd remember I had bought those for the last night. Some cheese and pepperoni that I never ate. Some donuts I never ate. Typical me, I often have a lot of food that I never eat. I got some duct tape that I bought at a gas station. My Achilles got pretty bothered on this race, and so at one point I just used the duct tape and taped up my ankles to make some ankle braces. And some neoprene gloves that I never end up using, but I pretty much carry these on every race because when it does get really wet and cold, these things make a world of difference. Move into the cockpit bag really quick. In here, like I said earlier, I'm carrying mostly all of my electronics. So nice, a little 5-hour energy. But yeah, basically I had a brick, charging cables, and my light that I put on my headlamp. From there, I carried just a couple, oh yeah, so then I had like a little charging cube, and then I carry just a couple of essential tools. I carry toothbrush, toothpaste, definitely essential, and I like to have those easily accessible so I can brush my teeth. Mouth gets really gnarly in these events. And then I carry a quick handy multi-tool. This is a Ratchet set that I really like to carry right on me. And then finally, a dyno plug, and it's all in pieces because I had to use it 5 miles out from the finish of the race. And that's everything that's in the cockpit bag. And then the final bag would be my backpack that I was wearing. So this is a Salomon Ultrarunning vest. I like to carry as much of my weight on my body and not on the bike. So again, for this race, it is a gnarly race, and you are on some really intense class 4 roads. Like, well, you're not on single track, it is absolutely mountain bike worthy in terms of how technical the riding is. And so for me, I like to have a really light bike underneath me. You're getting on and off the bike, you're lifting and carrying it over like big rocky sections, down trees and what have you. And so to have a bike that's just light, feathery, and you're just like exhausted and you're not having to think about lifting this huge burden of a bike to me makes all the difference. So I like to carry all my weight in on me. So in here I have, I'll carry, if I can find it, my primary toolkit. I'm carrying a lot of liquids. I have a V8 here I never finished, but I'll like carry on either side of me, usually a couple of drinks there, energy drinks at night, etc. I'll carry some basic foods. I still have a little bit, like I've got some Noon and some Martin powder there. And then, like I said, I'll carry my most essential clothing that I like to have right on me, easily accessible. So inside of here, I carry my raincoat, my rain pants, and then make a big plug for Ibex right now. This is my Ibex hooded Indy. And this became my like absolute go-to favorite layer of this race. The reason for that is that one, it's a dope layer, it's super warm and it's amazing. But it's the reason I really like it, aside from it doing its essential job, is the little ways in which it was stretchy. So I could put it over, like I could even wear it over this backpack if I wanted to. The sleeves rolled up really easily. So the issue with racing this race is it's incredibly hilly. It's just you go up, down, up, down, up, down. And so at night, it's super cold when you're descending. And then because it's so humid here, you get really sweaty on the climbs. So I would roll my sleeves up and then on the climbs, etc., and open the 3/4 zip on the front, or not 3/4, but it's a short zip. But then on the descents, I could quickly roll the sleeves down. There's a hole in the sleeve for my thumb, so then I'm really getting nice and warm. And then the best part is this huge hood, nice and stretchy. I could put it over my helmet, zip it up closed, and it did a great job of keeping me warm. So my favorite piece of gear that I had for this race, the Ibex hooded Indy. And then, y'all, it's just absolute chaos in here. Yeah, like I said, here's that toolkit, a bunch of cans of things that I drank. Because my light system went out, I was rocking a headlamp at one point, took my helmet off. My one and single glove that survived the race, I was only wearing a glove on the right hand for the last 2 days. My nasty socks. I carried so many tubes because on this race, I used 5 tubes, I think, overall. Glasses, what have you. So, lots of good stuff. But again, essentially, if I were to like break it down, nighttime setup was in the tail fin. Super quick, everything that I need really frequently was on the top tube bag and in my on my person. And then some like not quite as needed, like every once in a while, things like chain lube that I use every few hours, food that I couldn't fit on me. That went actually into the frame bag. And then finally, I'll just talk about what I was wearing. My helmet, my cycling shoes, and then for my kit, I wore a pair of, these are Bontrager bibs. My big pro tip that I now pretty much do exclusively when I race is that I take bibs. I really like to have a pair of like full on over the back, and the reason for that is that I like to protect my back from chafing from my jersey. So I like to have the overalls, but I don't want to have chamois. So I've actually started removing the chamois out of my shorts. But I do like having a bike short that has cargo pockets. So it has pockets on the legs, and those make a huge difference. I really like that. And then finally, for my jersey, I was wearing this beautiful Vermont bike shop jersey. Thank you, Darren, for that. This is just your standard, but really nice. It's a merino wool, 3-pocket, super lightweight jersey. I was stoked to get to rep Vermont and had the state flag on my back the whole time. That was sweet. And that, I think, is it. Here's the chaos after it all said and done. Hope that is helpful. Would be happy to answer any questions if anyone has them, who's going to do the race in the future, around what bike I would recommend. But yeah, this was my somewhat chaotic setup for the 2023 Vermont Super 8. Thanks for watching.